Hey guys, going live. Good to see you guys. So, we're going to talk about narcissism and just some of the crazy things that go on. Uh, I had a very busy day today. Good to see everybody. Feel free to chat, say hello. And oh, there's John. John, good to see you. First one, such a loyal person. Look at I busy day. Um, we got a couple people in the room. Feel free to say some things. I want to kind of address something with the holidays coming up. A lot of times we know the narcissist likes to ruin them. And also, I started thinking, I'm a Christian. We're not going to get super deep into religion, but this whole Santa Claus thing kind of bothers me. I celebrated Christmas with my daughter. I got the kids at school where you talk about Santa Claus. Now they got the elf, and we're teaching our kids, um, that we're lying to them. Also, if we decide to do it religiously, sometimes we might say, keep a secret. Don't tell people that Santa's not real, but then we tell them what we feel is real. But we're also telling them to keep secrets, and also the Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy, all these things. And it's so nice to have this magical stuff, but it's not reality. And I just wonder if it's kind of the start of the breakdown between parents. I've seen a lot of parents and children becoming estranged, and a lot of comments about being, my parents a narcissist, and where the breakdown comes between the reactive abuse and the abuse. So, is that the start of it? Narcissism is caused by something more severe than that, but there's something to it that we remember our experience, at least I do. Uh, you definitely say that it starts with the parents. Um, it's narcissism. If you're talking about narcissism, um, they're strong-willed children, and sometimes it might be, somebody else believing in them, uh, putting the pressure on. It could be a grandparent, it could be an aunt or uncle. A lot of it does start with the parents. But the sad part is when the good parent sees what the narcissist is doing and they overcompensate. That happens a lot because you're like, I feel bad. They got grounded last night for something they really didn't do, or they're being grounded over the top. And so they try to overcompensate for that. And that gets confusing. So most of the time it is the parents. Um, and this is where it gets weird, is the parent will kind of see what they felt as a child and try to provide that for the child. So if they felt unloved, they're going to try to give love. Um, but if they didn't feel love, it's a lot of anger and resentment. Hurt people. So they're reacting from their frustrations. If the child doesn't appreciate it, then it can be taken out on them. The parent can be hurt because it's like, you did not appreciate this. Like, I would have loved that. Like, what's going on with you? Um, it's the two different personalities, and sometimes you, as a parent, you want to, if I don't know, if uh you can cycle back and forth. It can cycle back and forth. Um, yeah, and a lot of relationships, and I'm not even talking romantic, will be good, then bad, then good, then bad. And it's the triggers we really have to understand, our triggers, our narcissist triggers, just people in our lives. And some of these triggers are unknown. So, and feel free, guys, let me know some topics that you'd like to talk about. I talk until you guys give me something that you want me to focus on. But like when I had the kids at school again, why do why do why do our narcissists lie so much? You see it with the kids. The way they lie, is kinda crazy. They don't take accountability. They flat out, lie, even the friends calling them out, and sometimes you see it, they just lie. They just don't. They see me as their teacher, as an authority figure. So they know their job is basically, in a sense, to please me or whatever, to do their job. Just like my boss is above me, I have to do my job, and they can't quit their job. I can quit my job. They can't. It's almost like being in the army. Until they're 16 in America, you can quit school, but so they're stuck there. Uh, some love school, some hate school. It was interesting. There was two girls today that had a problem, and they're like, "Yeah, we used to be friends, but now we're not." And it was over something silly, something really silly, and they're both like, "Yeah, we're not friends anymore." I She said this, and she reacted 'cause it's kinda abusive. It was something silly, but, uh, as far as the scheme of it was kind of rude, but, sometimes you have to let things roll off our back. Because everybody has bad days, but the girl's like, "Well, then I'm not gonna be your friend any ever again." And so they stopped their friendship, and they didn't work through it. They just decided it's easier just not to talk. And that's why the narcissist will quickly say, "It's over," or "I'm done, I'm out, I don't want to talk about it, leave me alone." They don't work through the things. And it's real hard to understand the narcissistic mind unless or unless we kind of look at it through the eyes of the children. Um, and it's sad, they're grown people, but, like, when it's like the kids just don't get it. They see things from a different point of view, and they react to that. So, uh, if you say, I don't know, "Don't throw the markers," they'll tell on everybody who is throwing the markers, but they'll still do it. And, like, they'll get mad if you get mad at them. Um, they know the rules. Don't throw the markers. They can see who's throwing the markers, but they'll still do it. They'll break the rules. Their impulse control. And children are not narcissists. They're developing into who they will be. Their brain is still developing, but the narcissist gets stuck. I had one kid today who wanted his picture to be perfect, and they give up easily. He wanted to give up. Also, the huffing and puffing and running away. I kind of soothed him through it, talked calmly. I didn't argue with him. I encouraged him and helped him. Uh, and he was able to have something he was proud of. But the narcissist does those kind of things. They huff and puff and run away, and um, it's just different. Like I cry. That's what I do when I'm frustrated. Is that really adult to cry when and I'm talking super frustrated? Um, maybe I have a coping skill that needs work on. Um, John says, I had a friend call me really too early this morning and said he's going to stop by, but he didn't. He does this often. I left him a message telling him to just stay away. Um, we can, how I like to handle it is, give them a warning. Look, I need to either to be able to count on you or let's not even make plans. Sometimes a warning is fair. We've appreciated that with cops, but if they repeatedly do it, yeah, like right now, I'm kind of struggling. I have to let my friend know. I'm supposed to go to Florida for 10 days with her and her husband. My mom's, she's finally being transferred to a rehab center. She was in ICU, has COVID, so it's a little hard finding uh, rehabilitation center. I don't want to cancel on my friend, but I'm kind of like, mom almost died. Like she was in the ICU for many days. So you see a pattern, which is true. And sometimes they start taking advantage of it. But when you say, hey, let's just not even make plans. Or you can just do that. You can just that's your right, John. We have to be cautious that our response isn't like for you based on Shoshana, that your response is based on him. And he is showing you a pattern, so it is based on him. Some of you are one and done. And that's your prerogative. You're allowed to do that. But how I was brought up is, you kind of talk things through, and I don't know how close the person is. The person at the gas station, if I said, "Yeah, you need an egg tonight," yeah, you can come over and grab an egg so you can finish your baking. Um, and that's just being kind, but it's like, can't even, like, I'm trying to do you a favor and you can't even acknowledge I stayed up late to do you a favor. I owe him nothing, you know? So, and the amount of mental illness in this world, hurt people. We're all going to end up hurt. And I don't know what was his name. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I saw it this morning. I just got home. Only talked to my mom for 10 minutes before I logged in. Uh, and I haven't had time to really research his name. It was a black man. He was on, I know he did a show on Ellen DeGeneres. He was he the DJ? Feel free to add if you guys know. The black man that just recently committed suicide. And the reason I mention his coloring is just to kind of narrow down because I don't have that much to narrow him down with. Uh, And he committed suicide, but the night before, he posted, like, a super happy dancing kinda video. I can't remember what he was doing, but he was doing something. He did Dancing with the Stars, maybe? He did some dancing show. Seemed very talented, and maybe he was on Ellen DeGeneres. Uh he was top up in there. So, you think he should be on top of the world. He's famous, semi-famous, and he's able to dance. He's so lucky that he's on stage and doing these cool things, and, like, and I hate that I don't know his name. Um, but he killed himself, and you could see when he was talking to Ellen that he teared up. And they gave him some kind of award, and he just said, it's really nice. I think he worked for Ellen DeGeneres. He said, it's really nice that I can just be myself here. And so many times, whether it's our narcissist or somebody who feels like they don't fit in, uh, we all just want to be loved. We want to be liked. And the severe depression that uh, people are going through, uh, and John, how close of a friend were you with this person? And it says he really called too early. Was he did he say he was gonna stop by for a reason? That's what I'm curious about. And that's the thing, like, we have such a narcissistic society in America, and I don't know where you guys live, but, um, you know, uh, we take people for granted. And some of it, I wonder on how we are treating things. There's differences between different generations because we kind of try the tough love. When I was growing up as a teenager, basically tell your kid, you smoke pot, you're out the fucking door. Good luck to you. Um, or do we support our person through that, our child or whatever? And some parents make their decisions based on what they feel is important, and it's not always what the child needs. even us as learners, you guys know I'm a teacher, people learn in different ways. Some are auditory, some are visual, some are kinesthetic, where they need to touch things and manipulate them. But John says he wants to hang out with me and kind of party down a little bit, smoke a little weed, but I'm really not interested in this stuff anymore. And that's the thing. Sometimes we grow out of it, you know. I never smoked pot, so I don't know. Um, but sometimes and they did things too on like married people. If one person smokes and the other one doesn't, it's like a 90% chance of divorce or something. And if they both are heavy drinkers, it can work out. People like to mirror. People like to mirror. And that's the comfort level. So the crazy thing with our relationship is in the beginning, we thought we were mirroring, but we were mirroring with a facade. And then they brought us down and we were mirroring with something or someone that we never wanted to be. We can reflect on that. Like, did I start lying to cover things up? Did I start making up stories to justify either why they're not here with me or the cognitive dissonance? All these things changed us, and we were hurting. We were missing ourselves, and that's who we love. They say you see yourself because you were able to be free, just like that man. Rest his soul. He could be him. I felt wanted. You could see he was just with the wrong people sometimes. And, narcissists can be narcissists, hang out with each other. They're just going to argue it out. They're going to feel lost all the time. They don't have that connection. And Samantha is joining us. Hi. I was actually going to take the night off, but I missed you guys too much. It was Mr. Nathan, who I don't know if you're here yet. I see a couple people, but I saw my live chat thumbnail. He's like, "Hello, Cynthia." And I'm like, "Oh, I think he's trying to hint." So I scheduled one. A long day today. Today's my longest day of the week. I have usually planning time in the morning, but I got to get right onto a meeting with all the other art teachers in the district. Then I have my full class. I don't have a planning period. Uh, that first part is just extra while the kids eat breakfast because I'm a specials teacher. And then I go into full class mode, not one break. And then I teach English as a second language to Japanese kids. So had dinner with a friend. My mom is still in the hospital, so I called her and logged on. So John says hello to Samantha, and Samantha says it back. And that's what I love about this is we really are starting to develop a community because we need our feelings validated. Um, and I know some of you, you're like, just communicate with me or keep your word. W we're living what starts to feel like 2 different atmospheres, and we lose ourselves because we tried so much. We give so mu like, right now, if you're like, "Yeah, can I have your TV?" "Okay, you can have my TV, I don't care, I don't really watch it that much, I can watch it on my phone." "Can I have your fireplace? Because I know it heats up in my place." "Yeah, take that. I know you need heat. I have a heater, it doesn't matter." But eventually, I have nothing, and if we don't replace our emotions, um, our emotional stability, it's going to be gone. Samantha, John, tell me about your days. Were they pretty decent? I know, like I said, today was a super busy day and I was pretty good. I really didn't have negative thoughts today. We're going to go through cycles as we start to heal. Eventually, it'll fade away. Um, but it takes time and it takes mental effort. Today, it didn't take mental effort really to get that thought out of your head, get that thought out of your head. So, uh, definitely keep your mental health. Just like if you want to diet to get back in shape, you have to take the necessary steps. So, to get our brains stronger, we have to do things. They say trick your brain into mental health by doing dopamine hits where you do things that you love. I know one of the best times I've had, I went with a friend of mine to a mud bog thing with some concerts, and it was like an adrenaline rush, being on those quad runners, being scared, because I got stuck pretty deep. And it was nice how they're like, "No, it's okay. You're a beginner," as opposed to getting yelled at or like, "What the fuck are you thinking? Couldn't you think ahead? Didn't you know to," you know, they were really kind. It was nice. Today was busy, Samantha says, because of moving. Oh, what do you mean moving? Just you? Hold on. What's going on with you moving? Together or apart? Today was busy. She's married. Was busy because of moving, but today to be in an actual house due to the first time in several years. I'm assuming that's you and your husband. And this is a thing, like lately things have been kind of hard for Samantha, married for 9 years, and it's a high stress time. A lot of divorces happen at that 9-year peak. I've listened to audios of her husband and her, the interactions. It is narcissistic. Um, and he's also threatened physical violence. So there's a lot of issues. But busy keeps things a little bit at bay, so you probably had somewhat of a decent day, unless he was a jerk to you where you didn't move the boxes right or he wanted you to unpack. Well, he did that. And then they got kids involved. They got 3 kids. So sometimes too, it's like the stress of the kids. Like if the kids would just sit and watch TV, like you can do what you need to do, but they don't always listen. So how was your interaction with your husband today, Samantha? Stress seems to be a trigger and financial issues. If you look at all the different divorce statistics, um, finances, a death, a marriage, moving, change of careers, a lot of those can be the highest stress. Um, Stress can wreak havoc on our bodies. So, sorry, I'm like looking at stuff, all my little notifications. So John, did you let him know? I'm just not really interested in that. That might have been why he didn't stop by because you're not mirroring each other anymore. Um, and that's fine. You're growing, you're healing. Um, and we have to be careful with the crowds that we hang out with. So I'm not necessarily, I don't smoke weed, but I see why people do. But like the harder core stuff, uh, yeah, uh, an altered mind. Why? Why do people do that? Um, is it just for fun, or are they avoiding things? So, uh, I'm interested in how the day was for Samantha, but they lie so much because I wish you guys could have been in class today. Either they want their own way, they're like, "Oh, I have a headache. Can I come go to the calm down corner?" No, they just want to play with the toys. So they gave me an excuse. Um, you tell them not to throw the markers, they throw them into the bin and it bounces out. And like, "Oh, I didn't mean to." They did. They know the rules, just like our narcissist knows the rules of marriage. It wasn't rules they picked. It's rules I don't know, made up by God or society or however that goes. Um, or they think, yeah, 80% of that's cool, but it's like, no, that wasn't the deal. And they don't become one. That's where the issue is. If you guys become one, it's kind of even flowing. But, you hear about all these roommate stories. A lot of roommate stories are like, you know, uh, they use some of my ketchup. I can't fucking stand them. Wish they'd fucking move out over ketchup. um, the narcissist doesn't have the connection that we thought. And why does the devaluation happen? Um, it's the triggers between both of us. And like we put up with it for a lot of time because we think they'll handle things the right way. And over time, we're like, this has to stop. The way the kids tease each other, discard each other, hate each other, love each other, it fluctuates day to day. And the narcissist does those same kind of cycles where, those two girls today, um, they think they're good, and we'll see. One little thing um, can cause that entire friendship to go apart. There's another group of is it 4 girls, and one of the girls is really emotional. She hopefully will grow out of what she's going through. If not, she's gonna be a handful for somebody. But the 3 girls get along really well. And that 4th girl, they're kind of friends, but she's like bossy, and you can see manipulation, you can see shadiness. There's something about her. And sometimes they argue like crazy, but then I'm walking in the halls and, you know, with one on one, the girls seem like the best friend, the perfect match. So if I was to see those girls in the hallway, and just judge them for the first time, I'm like, "Those girls are best friends. Look at them." They're, like, not really skipping, but skipping through the halls, holding hands, you know how girls do that when we're little. Best of friends. So when you look at those Facebook posts, kinda think about that picture. Me in the hallway seeing these 2 girls happy as ever, really close to each other. They argue. There's times they hate each other. They don't want to sit next to each other. They just want to get her out of the group. Uh, I don't see that with adults. When I'm sitting in the classroom with the kids, I'm not like, "Oh, that reminds me of adult so and so. That reminds me of adult so and so that seem healthy." Also, it's interesting. The more I delve into psychology, the more I see certain things about adults. Why are they doing the things that they're doing? Um, what we do is based on our beliefs, our upbringing, and oh, your phone's overheating, John. Stay as long as you can. Don't burn out your phone. If save your phone first, unless you're going through a big issue. You've been doing pretty good lately, though. But yeah, you might want to clear out some apps, turn your phone off and on. Sometimes there's apps running in the background. Maybe use your settings, tools, whatever it is to optimize your phone. Uh, and that's the thing, too. Society is messing us up. Uh, Starting to feel paranoid. Everybody's listening to us. Do you guys like that Facebook or whatever posts? You say something and we're being watched. And um I don't know. Society is so changing. Like I said too, with the societal changes, uh, you know, um, it used to be don't show your emotions so much. And now it's, here's a comfort pet um that uh let's talk it out. I do feel we need to talk it out, but sometimes in those things, it is good, but sometimes too, it's, you know, uh therapy can give some good advice, but sometimes too people use it as a crutch. Like I have somebody who will talk to me and I need to be heard. We all need to be heard, but sometimes people um go into it too much uh because they just need a friend and they befriend their therapist in a sense. There's a lot of misdiagnosis. What was it today? They said it 80%. Let me remember. Can't remember. It was so early this morning. Didn't plan I wasn't, like, focused on the TV, but no, 20% of teens think seriously about committing suicide, and all the misdiagnoses of mental illness. Uh, because right now, if I said, "Do you feel pretty today? Do you feel pretty?" Some days we do, some days we don't. So, if you answer that question, I don't feel pretty. Do you think people judge you? Well, today, all day long, I felt, if we felt that way, that might influence our answer. So Samantha says, kind you all. Going to have to sign off because of your husband. Aw. Well, enjoy the new house. I'll talk to you soon. So we love you, Samantha, and keep in touch. I'll see you soon. Um, so you tried everything, John? You could. The phone is getting old. The new one next month, something to look forward to. And we have somebody else in the room. Feel free to join in if you would like. You don't have to, but we're talking about the lies. The kids, they just shut down. They don't know how to express their feelings. A lot of times, too, they don't know what they're feeling. How can you say I feel anxious uh, if you don't feel or don't know what that means? And also, they just want to be liked. You can see where some kids don't want to tell on other kids. Um, because, they're afraid of the repercussions. I know me on standing up. We love you too, Samantha. See you soon. Take care. Just talk calmly. Just talk calmly and, um, don't feed the fuel to the fire. Uh, just, "Okay, okay." Or I can get to it tomorrow, or I'll do it in about 15 minutes. That's all I can do. So, good luck to you, Samantha. Sleep well. But You s you see a lot of times they don't even know, because I try to ask the kids, like, "What's making you feel this way?" "I don't know." And our narcissist doesn't really understand. Um, so no matter what you tell them, there's that block. I showed the brain scans of the area that is missing. Also, the difference in the energy level, the amount of communication, so they don't grasp it. And John's giving you lots of support, Samantha. And we're here to build a community because unless you've been through narcissistic abuse, like I studied it in college. I've told you guys I'm certified to teach it, but um, it gets deep to where you're like, whoa. And also, too, as you're going through psychology schooling, you're like, I'm this, I'm that. Like, I can relate to that. Like, a lot of times, there's things we've done, you know? I've lied. I try not to. Uh, so we're like, I get it. I get it. I understand. But it's deeper than you shouldn't have told a lie. Um, I have never told a lie that would devastate a life. And mine have told lies that have devastated lives. There's a difference. Not that you should lie, because there's all those little things. And what is a lie, you know? Hey, Cynthia, how are you? Having a good day? Yeah, I'm having a good day. like I told you, my mom's in the ICU, recently lost my dad. Yeah, I'm having a good day. Some of it's survival, but if they're like, "Did you put gas in my car or some formula that's gonna cause it to blow up?" Like, I'll tell you what I did. Uh, unless I have evil intent, and I don't, but this is where it's weird. If they would get a kick out of it, whether it's a psychopath, sociopath, narcissist, sometimes they do, like, want revenge, and that's why when you guys are hurt, that I hope you don't seek revenge. I never did. I was very hurt, very devastated, but, you know, in my eyes, 2 wrongs don't make a right. That lowers me to being evil in a way, and I don't wanna go there. We're trying to get rid of our pain, and sometimes we think, "I'll pop his tires," or "I'll do this," um, "I'll break them up." Things thoughts go through our head. Thoughts become your words become your actions, and, um, sometimes thoughts to actions, you don't always need words, so watch your thoughts and stay true to who you are, you know? Um, and like I said, guys, you can feel free to join in on the chat, but the lies are sometimes not necessary, or the lies are just to be noticed. And as far as how they process things causes those lies. Like the kids, if they feel they should have been in their seat, they'll say I was. Just because they're like, yeah, I should do that and I didn't, but I don't want to get in trouble. Um, I had one kid today, he was just not paying attention. He hit a girl in the face with just being stupid with markers, and hurt her pretty good. And he he was wild today. What causes these kids to be so wild? So he has some issues, but he really felt bad. Now, was he crying because he was afraid of what mom and dad would say? Or was he really, he did say sorry to her, but I asked him to. And he did. There was no grudge, but there's other times these kids they refuse to apologize. And that's the thing too with our narcissists, they just shut down. They don't wanna hear it, they don't wanna work through it. Some of us get to that point where, like John was saying, I told my friend, like, "Screw it." Like, "What the fuck?" We get to a breaking point too, and the relationship turns toxic when it's off balance, and it feels like it blindsides us, but sometimes we wanna believe the good in people, and we realize that we're human, so we feel a lot of guilt for any reactive abuse, or where we feel maybe I shouldn't have said that, but we've been gaslit so much that we try to figure it out, and we don't have the concrete answers. It's like asking, "What's 2 plus 2 plus 4?" And I'm like, "Well, the mathematical equation will tell you that. Make sure the answer is after the equal sign, and I know you can do this because I believe in you and you're so smart, but I'm here to help you, and we got 3 digits that we have to add together, so let's do this." And you're like, "Okay, you were sweet. You built me up. You acknowledged the problem. We didn't come to a solution." And you don't have the meat of what you need, because we're like, I know we have a problem, I told you we have a problem, 2 plus 2 plus 4. Um and and we're like, okay, how do I say it? Did I say it the wrong way? We said our questions the right way. There's a reason that they answer the way that they answer. Either they don't know how to make it better, that's fine. They might not, but we're like, we can do these solutions. What do you think? Um, and any solution they might come up with is usually self-serving. What can we do? You can go to my family's holiday and I'm not going to your parents. You can do whatever the situation is. It's really interesting too uh how lost people get in their phones, that we're starting to lose connections with people. Our connections are more to our phones than to the people in our lives. So, family is meant to give us some foundation, and we destroy our foundation. Whether it's the best family or mediocre family, w- we had the opportunity. Tell me about your last holiday. Thanksgiving just went past. Some of you might have had a birthday celebration or a wedding that you guys went to. Usually they're better at weddings, but how many times are people on their phone? Have you experienced where everybody in the room was on their phone? I have. I just went out to dinner with a friend of mine, and he was saying that. Uh, at Thanksgiving, he's like, "I had to lay down the law." He's like, "I told my daughter, her husband, and whoever else was there, I think aunt or something." He's like, "No more phones," because people weren't paying attention to them, to each other. And he said after they put their phones down, it was the quietest Thanksgiving ever. They didn't know how to interact. So you got husband and wife, they could at least talk. They have a kid in common. You could do like, oh, what is she doing? Is she doing sports? And then I think it must have been brother, sister, if it was an aunt. Um, just they didn't communicate with each other. At least they didn't fight, but he laid down the law, and that was his rule, his house. And the thing is, it's so weird. Like, is he wrong? They were enjoying their time, but it was his house, and he had the celebration. Like, people need to appreciate and focus on what each thing is. How often do you get to spend time with your family? Um, so his daughter was like, "The hell?" So he's like, "I don't know if I'm gonna see him again," because they weren't too happy. Um, it's tough having these relationships. If you're like, "Yeah, they're probably interested in their phone," but that hurts us. We're like, so and it cycles too. Like, was that person being is that person like, narcissists can be nice sometimes. They're not always evil. Um, so even just that incident, I'm not saying he's a narcissist. Did he have a right? It was his house. He cooked a Thanksgiving dinner, and the celebration is to get along and talk to each other, reconnect with each other. And people just start losing themselves in their phones. And it starts to be an addiction, a temptation. People go through Facebook withdrawal, and we go into panic mode. There's a certain is it 15%? Can't remember, where we start getting anxiety based on the battery life of our phone. Think about that. The anxiety we have. Back when I was a little girl, we didn't have phones. We didn't have that anxiety. But Wheeler Nathan, good to see you. And Samantha popped in for a little bit. She had to take a little break. But how was your day, Nathan? We're talking about lies and deceit and whatever it is that you want to talk about. I know you got a big long story that really, really kind of hit you for a whammy. Same with John. We've all been hurt, and um, we have to realize that the lies were told to us, we're never going to get our exact answers that we need. And that's hard, because our reality is gone. And we had to weed through. We start ruminating, which causes that trauma bond, we have to break that bond. So we got to stop these thoughts. So when we're like, what exactly did they say? Did am I remember like we're putting so much mental strain. Uh you did what you did. You did what you did. It's over. They did what they did. It's over. But then they as soon as we start healing, that's when they come back. And how do we handle it? Like we love that person. And Nathan, I'm so glad to hear you say it was a good day for me too. Um, I was really busy today. And sometimes keeping busy helps. So feel free to hit that like button. It helps with the analog to help us get noticed and build a bigger community. So if you like this video, go ahead and do that. Subscribe. And I find it so interesting about like Freud with his id, ego, super ego, the Oedipus complex, like all these different things. Do we want a daddy figure? Are we missing our mom? Uh, uh, our childhoods too affect the way the way we handle things, the way we perceive things, the way we remember things. I talked yesterday about the Mandela effect, how, like with Fruit Loops, we think it's Fruit. Where did that come from? That is not how it is spelled. The Monopoly character, he didn't have a monocle, a one eyeglass. He didn't have anything. And when our eyes see certain things, our eyes will fill things in. Sometimes that is very interesting. You do optical illusions. Our brains are miraculous, but sometimes they malfunction um, due to the trauma. So as we're healing, we got that brain fog. We can't think clearly. And if you think about the narcissist, I have to re- uh, I have to relate it to the kids to express it because my brain doesn't work that way. So my experiences aren't going to help you make sense of their brain unless I relate it to the narcissist and then relate to the narcissist to the, the mind of a child in emotionally, not intellectually. There's different parts of our brain that do certain things. And I was going through some ways to tell how people lie. My degrees in criminal justice, and i- it's interesting too how humans do a lot of the same things without even realizing. We smile when we're happy, we frown or pout when we're not. Sometimes the way we move our lips, a lot of times they do that. It's almost like subconsciously, like don't say it, and a lot of times it's letting you know it's a lie. The way we point our feet uh, can signify who we're closest to. When we look a certain way in a big group setting, it's either who we feel most comfortable with or who the leader is. Um, so, Nathan, you recently had a Hoover, correct? Um, how did you guys end it though? She just kind of ghosted you? Is that what it was? Was it what I'm trying to understand? I know she contacted you, you helped her. And that ghost part, how exactly was that? Was it understood that you would talk again? Um, yeah, I think you guys got together and kissed or something. Trying to remember. And that's the thing, like we don't always remember everything. And it's not out of disrespect for you. Sometimes we have a lot of things going on, or sometimes it's a brain overload. We have for me, like a lot of people chit-chatting. I told you guys last night, I think of more of the big picture. Yes, I know she ghosted you. I do like, I wanted to make sure it was you. I know she ghosted you, but was it understood that it was understood we would see each other again? That's what I thought. That's the hard part 'cause you're like, "What the fuck?" We got along. Um, we talked about seeing each other. We got along, no fight. Otherwise, we wouldn't have talked, to see each other again, and now it's like, "What the fuck?" Um, and so when you say ghosted, how long in between your first, I'm assuming text, could be phone, your first text and the second one, you fell for her game? And I know you were saying it was like 6 months, you fell for it, and you're kinda beating yourself up over it. In your case, your narcissist ghosted me, recontacting, ghosting, a cycle. Yeah, and I know your person, John, not personally, but there I know both your sides. And she was just lost. Uh didn't know how to communicate or express her feelings truly, deeply. She could talk, she could say certain things, but she didn't know how to express it. And knowing both sides, you can kind of see what exactly is going on, and they're in it for the moment, they're in it for what they get, and they enjoy it. Like John, I know she enjoyed hanging out with you. You guys had a connection, but her connection doesn't go as deep and as true, and it feels like it does. Snuggles, kisses, playful, the connection's not there, and that's where it's really hard to comprehend because you're like, they're saying this, they're doing this, we communicate about it, and all of a sudden they start treating us like crap. So Nathan says the thing is, Cynthia, the new year. Oh, the new year. Let's share our stories. I was supposed to go to Florida. I might actually stay home because my mom's in the hospital, but maybe I'll spend New Year's with you guys. Maybe I'll do Eastern time with my mom and Central time. I'll celebrate with you guys, or Pacific time. If she comes back again, okay, wait, the New Year's coming up. As I told you, she's going to try again. Oh, tell what you got planned for her. Nathan says, I've got something planned for her. If she comes back again, which I know she will next year, probably around your birthday in March, she's going to be in for a rude awakening. I hear all the time you can't get rid of a narcissist. You can, if you call them out, curse them out, tell him where to get off at, trust me, they won't be back. There are times that it's a permanent discard. Either it's because we're like, screw it, um, or they just realize it's so damaged. You know, it's not worth the hassle. Um, I was really John says, "I was really patient with her, but it didn't seem to be worth it after all that." Yeah, looking back, sometimes we're like, "What the fuck?" We missed out on so much. Um, we're investing in the wrong people, you know? And that's sad because it could have been. It could have been great. But the connection, it's because of that connection, it brings it back to child, like toddlers. They're so cute. They will drive you crazy. If that was my husband, you think about a 2-year-old mentality, throwing fits, not listening, doing whatever, destroying things, like that's not, as an adult woman, what I would want in a husband. And that's kind of what you get. You get a 2-year-old who knows physics, who knows um, the scientific equation, who knows this, that, they're smart. I'm not going to marry somebody who, and that's kind of what we end up with. Each one's different too. Like mine, were avoidant. Mine were avoidant. They weren't the the thrashers. So the abuse for the narcissist varies of what they got in different extremes. Uh, so they're going to react different, and also the type of abuse. So Nathan says the thing about it is that for her to be cheating on him with me, I picture that being me if I was with her. Yeah. It they can do it one way, they can do it the other way. It's just, you know, main supply, supply. So you switch, main supply, you know. And sometimes too we're like, we gotta check, we gotta understand ourselves. So you're going to Las Vegas for New Year's. That's great. Yeah, and get out there and do things. Start enjoying life. And Nathan says, "Let me ask you, I made a mistake and end up giving her my new address where I live at. Should I just tell her or do I risk her coming over here unexpectedly if I give her no contact?" Um, Based on what's going on now, I think it's it's okay with who she's with. It's okay. Um, yeah, there's a way. She might stop by. She might stop by. If things get bad with him, she may. She might get distracted by a different guy, but she might. She might. I don't know her patterns. Was she a popover kind of girl? Um, or was she one where it's like, I'll call first? And, some people just walk into doors, other people uh, are respectful. And narcissists can be respectful in certain ways, just not others. It's the toxicity that makes it so bad. So give me a little bit more background on her. Um, because patterns repeat themselves, if she's feels entitled, like, or friends, I can walk in your house. I have certain friends. It's like, I'm gonna go shower. I'll leave the door unlocked. Usually that's communication. I don't usually do that. Uh, but I'm usually a type. Even if I'm your best friend, I don't just walk in. I won't just walk in. Sometimes too, is that because I've had a gun held to my head? I don't know what people are doing. My degree in criminal justice, all the things that we studied. I like to play it safe, you know? Uh, Everybody's different. And so, like John was saying, I was really patient with her. And sometimes, like with the kids, when I bring them up to my desk, they need extra help. Now they're reliant on it. So you have to balance it because, like John said, I was really patient and he did great things, planned things that with my kids in school that they start liking it. It's easier. You're there, you're breaking it down super step by step. It's causing me more work and I'm not complaining about it. I'm just I want you guys to picture the child like mentality. So they appreciate I don't even know if they appreciate it. They kind of appreciate it, kind of calms them, but they still get frustrated when it's not going perfectly, and they're ready to abandon it. But eventually, like, I just want to come up here. I would just, and they're focused on now. They're not focused on their work. Like I got the help, I can continue forward. They're focused on it was easier. I had somebody step by step breaking it down, and they'll throw a fit if I tell them, we have to do it next week. This is somebody else's turn. And, they start taking it as like, you see the jealousy, like, I'm not worth it, or you're giving up on me, you won't help me. And I still help them, but not the full 60 minutes because I can only do like 3 kids and then the class at a time. So I do the class and focus, class and focus, class and focus. And um, it'd be so nice if everything just goes as we hope. So Nathan says she came by my house, your old house before once. Uh and John says my friend has come unexpectedly at odd hours. The girl was more respectful in that she would call first. So Yeah, like I said, some can be respectful. I have one that, calls right before they're at your door. They're in town for a couple hours, and they could give you some heads up, but they don't. They wanna know exactly what you're up to, and so Nathan says, "She came over when I gave her no contact once before, and it freaked you out." And your response to that is important. Some of it's from your childhood, probably, your upbringing, what you think is, acceptable. Somebody treats you like shit, and then they come to your house is probably a warning sign. You're freaking out, like, "What the fuck? This is weird." Not, "Oh, I can't believe she's here." Like, "Oh my gosh." So, take to heart how you react. That's telling you something on what you feel. And you say, "I just don't want to risk her coming over after I go no contact." And like you said, things don't work out with this guy. What you want ultimately, she's gonna come by and try and come over to me again. Just, you know, Nathan says she kind of feels entitled because she kind of insisted I give her my new address. And yeah, that's hard. Um, she probably felt you kind of pulling away, even though you guys weren't together. She's moved on. She's with a new person. She just wants to keep you within reach. And it's so weird how they act. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't get a vibe on that yet, but I don't know. Narcissist, she's okay right now. She's not gonna stop by right now, in my opinion. Um, she might, I don't know, you got the holidays coming up. Holidays are high stress. On a scale of 1 to 10, how hot and heavy were things when you saw her? Was it just, like, romantic, or was it, like a romantic kiss? So give that, like, a 2 or 3, or it was, like, above the top. Um, as far as, like, the connection, it doesn't have to be, like, sex, but, the energy, was the energy like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe," you know, y whatever, however people talk, the energy connection, did you feel the vibes? Were you vibing? Um, we gotta be careful on that too, like, I I see some of the Facebook stories of people I know the lowdown on, and they um, their Facebook messages don't match the lowdown. So just always be aware of that, and it fluctuates day to day. Uh, and stability is really important. Consistency, like John should be able to rely on his friend to at least um, update them. They narcissists don't like to update or keep to their word. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes life happens, so we start thinking some of our good friends might not care, and it's such a tough balance, you know? Gotta trust our gut, gotta trust our energy that, when somebody starts knocking us down, we have to keep that energy up. And that's when we're gonna know who's meant to be with us and who's not. So don't play dirty with them. That's changing the energy. So you're lowering your energy. Uh, you're lowering your good energy and letting your bad energy. So you got good and bad energy. So we're good people, bad people, whatever. We're trying to do good. So if you try to do good in life, your energy is going to attract good. But if you're, like, pissed off, and you have every right to be pissed off a lot of times, but if you're like, "Fuck that motherfucker," and you wanna do something destructive, destroy their lives, call their work, you're in a negative energy, and you don't like that. That's why you're so uncomfortable. You're trying to get rid of that negative energy, but when you did that, it made you look at yourself as a negative person, like, "Why did I do that?" You know? I'm not a thief and I just fucking stole his car and smashed it or whatever, you know, and then there's also criminal things that you could face too, you know. Keep your energy high and, know who you are, know what you need. So like John's like, I'm not doing that stuff anymore. He has his energy a little higher. And I can't I'm not gonna let you take down my energy. You blew me off. Okay. Um, I'm not gonna entertain it anymore. So last year she hoovered me into the new year while my birthday and I fell for it this year. It's not gonna happen or any other year. It was an 8. Okay. A lot of times it is where we're like, "Oh my god," like, we had such a connection, whether you had sex with them or just the conversation was amazing, or they said so many things, and we're like, "Yeah, we're rock solid again," and then you just, "Hey, baby, it's so good to see you, you wanna call me today or tomorrow?" And nothing. You're like, "I thought you'd at least say hi." Uh, the energy was there from Nathan, but there but the energy was there, but afterwards, I was totally different after she ghosted me. Now I can't stand her, and I'm sorry to say that. That's the thing, sometimes we get hurt so much, you know? Um, you know? If you think about it, if you were to grab my arm and you're pulling and it hurts and it dislocates, eventually you probably could pull my arm off, dislocated, done. It's not going back on. They damage us so much that there's that break. Like, fuck it, you know? Hopefully, you can keep as much if you take that as an analogy, you can let it destroy you, damage you, or maybe you got a sore shoulder now. We get scars after this. We get hurt after the abuse. The longer it goes on, the more damage it's going to do. And we feel the pain. It's okay to feel that way, Nathan. Yeah, and that's the thing too. Thank you, John. You know, uh, we're protecting ourselves, if you I don't know, it's so weird. Y- A lot of times, the discard part's kind of tricky on how to handle it. So she ghosted you, you can let it be. If she tries to contact you again, usually like in criminal stuff, you have to notify the person one time. So if I call you today, you cannot put a harassment charge. So this is the first time I called you. Uh, you cannot put a personal protection order on me. You tell me not to contact you again, and I do. You can do that stuff. Uh, it's just like with trespassing. If you walk on my well, sometimes too, if you tell them ahead of time, but I'm saying if they call. Like posting no trespassing, you have to have it posted. You post it, they can't trespass. You don't post it. So I was saying where I call and then you tell me. You could tell her now, do not contact me again. Then you got some legal repercussions or ability to do a personal protection order if you need to. Is she violent in any way? Mine weren't really violent. They kind of broke my heart, but they weren't really violent. Some are really violent. Nathan. Uh, John was, she was just kind of shady for John, I think. She didn't really, uh, I don't know. Was she kind of a thief too? Did she ever steal from you? And Nathan says the most of the longest should be with them is probably another year or 2, maybe 4 years at the mall so far. They've been together almost 2 years, it's not gonna last, and she is coming back. How do you wanna handle it? And then I'll kinda help you with that. So, sometimes too, we feel that Hoover. I've had it where, I just knew, uh, and it's weird, you can go, like, 8 months, you're like, "Something's happening tonight." So, it's not like every night I'm like, "He's coming by, he's coming by, he's coming by." There's like, "How did I know that?" It's weird. The cycles. and you think about all the energy in the world, being connected with somebody so far, uh, miles, far away, and it's like, "Where is this coming from?" Nathan says, "I would never do anything ever illegal. That's not me. It's not the person who I am." Yeah, and I'm kinda talking general 'cause, I have so many viewers, so when I say that stuff, don't take it as a personal, thing. It's just trying to all encompass everything. Be very inclusionary, but, and John, that's very healthy how you, yeah, it's okay to feel what we feel. Um, it's how we handle it that, makes a difference. The biggest okay, I would never do anything illegal, uh, and that's not the person who I am, don't get me wrong. Cynthia, I just meant setting her straight so she doesn't ever call me again. So you never told me though, what are you thinking? Sometimes too, you have to think it through. Like, oh, was that a good idea? Sometimes too, you can think, I'm not going to do anything bad. She's going to come to my door and I'm going to shoot her with a water gun. That's still an assault. So we're like, oh, I thought water was safe. That can be an assault. So we have to think through what we do. We think, whatever, it's just water. Kids do it all the time. It's an unwelcome touch. You cannot do that. So tell me some of the things if you would like. If not, you don't have to. Everybody can join in on this conversation. And John says, no, she never stole anything from me. So that's good. I think you said she even returned some of your video. Oh, she threw some stuff out, which was kind of sad. You found it in the garbage bins at your complex. And so was it strategically placed? Did you always go to the same garbage bin? Sometimes too, it's like, is that on purpose? Um, other times it's not on purpose. So it gets confusing, like, what do we think? But Nathan says, have to compare me or anyone to an animal. But if you keep kicking a dog, eventually that dog is going to reach out and bite you. Perfect. Exactly. Where's my Dixie do? Where did Dixie go? Pop, pop. Um, yeah, you see that a lot. I don't know. I witnessed well, I can't say it's the worst because I'm sure there's way worse. The worst I've ever seen dog fight in my house. 9 hours to clean up the blood. And these dogs, they got along. They got along. But you know, um sometimes they start getting territorial, but, the dog attacks, sometimes the dog attacks. Uh, I've heard so many times, the family dog and how some people treat their dogs and yeah, they're gonna lash out. Because it's survival mode. And, when we go into reactive abuse, which is reacting to the abuse, we're not the abuser, but we're in survival mode. So they're in survival mode. So you got two starving people or like, there's passive aggressive and active aggression and different ways. Mine were more the like passive aggressive, where you guys see, well, huh, I think Nathan, she was kinda I don't know. What would you say? Would you I'm still getting to know him. When she tries to call me or text me, which I'm almost 100% sure she will no later than March or April, should I just tell her on the phone, "Don't pick up the phone. Why are you picking up the phone?" Um You know, have it go to voicemail. You really shouldn't listen to it, but you can listen to it. That's up to you. Other YouTubers will tell you don't listen to it. That's kind of going to suck you in though. Um, so it's not, it's better not to listen to it. Curiosity kills the cat. You could just text her back like, I'm not taking your calls anymore. Please stop contacting me. I've moved on. And, and then if she's like, what the fuck, you know, say I mean it. I don't want to file a personal protection order. So she's not a violent person, none whatsoever. Yeah, they're not all violent. And I forgot her number, so I would have to wait until she calls or texts me first. Hmm. Now, did you forget her number or did you delete it or never saved it? Sometimes we delete numbers, and that's kind of like blocking a person. We don't want to hear from them again, or we want to be healthy, not tempt ourselves to reach out. So, there's two. Yeah, I've forgotten some of my own household phone numbers, and the ones I stayed at longer are my favorite places or the easier numbers. And it's interesting what we remember, what we don't remember. And why don't we remember lies? Why does a narcissist change their story so much? Where are these lies coming from? They're lies to cover up lies because they can't remember the story. And that's where the gaslighting comes in. So they don't have to directly answer your question. It's an escape mechanism, escaping from the truth. And you say, like I told you, Cynthia, the age difference, he'll be 62 next month. She's 52. The most you'll get out of him is probably average, another 4, maybe 5 years, give or take by that time. Sometimes too, yeah. Is he rich? Does he have a nice house? And I'm not talking millionaire. I'm talking, just comfortable. Um, let's put it this way, more comfortable than what she had. Like I like my place, but some people have better places, some people have worse places. So I'm just wondering if he's a step up as far as money, better cars or better restaurants, better travel, better whatever. Because sometimes too, like, women will go for older men, but a lot of times men go for younger women. They're more naive. Society, women are supposed to be beautiful. We see men as refined as they get older. Uh, Nathan says to be crazy by that time after that. Could be. Sometimes uh they are with a different person, and that person's going to interpret things different ways. Even my narcissist, there is times I got a little snippy, not and just in a text like, "Oh, okay." Uh and that's not the best way to put it, but it kind of gives you a gist like, "Oh, okay, you're not coming over again." Um but I just type, "Oh, okay, you're not coming over again." So, I'm usually so nice, and I try to be nice, but he probably took it as like, "Oh, okay, I understand. You're not coming over today?" I'm like, "Phew," because there's times you're like, "I regret that attitude," and I was nice so much he didn't take it that way. Um, I just I don't know. Um, that's where it gets confusing. Like, that was nice that time he didn't see me as a bitch when I was kinda hormonal or something, y you know, and sometimes it saved my butt, but it's like the grandiosity, like, she would never talk to me like that, because I really never did, but there's times after that discard where Um, Nathan says, "No, basically, I'm just going to tell her I don't want any association with her, no communication with her to move on. I move on and just stay out of my life. It's over with." Yeah, and just say, "Look, you chose to move on, and that left me with no other choice but to move on." And those words too, uh, this is where I struggle. Like that comment right there that I just said. Um, in a sense, it's like blaming her, but it's also a true statement that, yeah, she did move on. Uh, you know, um, and that's the reactive abuse if you think about it. Instead, I just told you we are not talking. I just told you we're not talking. But that's also not empathetic. So when it gets toxic, Yeah, no contact. Like, John, you've been a lot healthier, happier, doing more things. You had a real bad rut. You were thinking about calling an ambulance because you were so, uh, very depressed and didn't know what you would do, to where you're like, I just need some help to stay safe." And, you know, like I started saying, 20% of teenagers have seriously committed suicide. And that's about some of our narcissists, their processing skills. Uh, in high school, am I the prettiest? Am I the skinniest? Am I, the smartest? All the pressures. And how easily in high school you can get discarded. You can be best friends with someone, they get on the cheerleading team, and all of a sudden you're a loser. It's like, I didn't change. I didn't change. They did. They transferred their identity into a title. I'm a cheerleader. I want these people to like me, and they forget the best friend that they had. Um, Not realizing that those cheerleaders could discard them at any moment. So they latch on to the wrong people. And I'm not saying all cheerleaders do that, but when you don't have a connection with people, uh, where it's superficial, where cheerleaders are like you, as long as you're a cheerleader, you're not, you're not. Nathan says, "No, I was only saying that to let her know over the phone so she doesn't attempt to come over to your house, because then it can get worse." And this is where it gets tricky. You have a point, but sometimes she might not contact you. She might not. Um, like my first one, you know, granted we have a daughter together, so I do see him grandkids' birthday parties, and we're cordial, but yeah, he doesn't reach out to me. And if he did, this is the other thing too. It'd probably be about our daughter, and we're adults to handle that. However many decades later. Um, but if you reach out to her now, you deleted, well, you don't have her number. You deleted it, didn't save it, and tried to forget it. And I can only remember the last four digits. And that's, to me, a sign of healing. Like, uh, that's a sign of healing that you can't remember that. And sometimes too, it's our minds kind of protecting us. Like, we don't need to know that right now. We we don't need to know that number. So take it as a blessing that you don't remember it. There's a reason you don't. Uh, yeah. She didn't contact you for weeks. Then out of the blue, she tried to reconnect with me. Now I know, John. When was the last time you've heard from her? Has it been a little while? I know that you've said that you've seen her walking, I think, like, on the other side of the street, and, just kinda not making eye contact, and it's weird, you just totally ignore the person. You could just smile and nod, and you don't have to get closer, but, this is somebody that you loved, and, it should be a kind heart, and, like, "I wish you well," and just go about your day. Eventually her mask is gonna come eventually her mask is going to come off, and she's going to want to try to get away from this guy, because he watches her every move, and that's going to be her downfall with him. Yeah, some of them do not like to be controlled, do not like to answer to the person. So she's going to start making up excuses. I'm sure she didn't tell him she talked to you, or if she did, it was to control him. Like, yeah, you want to talk to me like that? I got somebody else I can go to kind of shut him down. And that's going to make that other person feel like I gotta back down, otherwise she's gonna leave me, and, you know, what does this person have that I don't have, so I can make sure that I'm better so I won't lose this person, and it's just this web of, pain, insecurity, manipulation. Uh, so you haven't heard from her since the discard. And I kind of get that from her, where she's pretty broken to where she doesn't have the confidence to come back. She already knows what's up. She already knows what's up. That you're too strong. You're too strong, you know? And that's good. Congratulations, John. Uh, Nathan says, here's the thing. She has to pay an extra 200 a month because she filed for credit bankruptcy over the next 4.5 years. Uh, okay, so like in her apartment, she's was bankrupt, her credit's bad, and she has to pay an extra $200 at her place. Sometimes we get punished that way. She knows I sold my house and I got money. Okay. So because her credit's bad due to that bankruptcy, her rental is causing 200 extra a month, or her mortgage is 200 more a month because of poor credit. Is that what you're saying? And yeah, I believe she wanted you to sell the house and move in with her, but then you guys broke up. Um, yeah, sometimes too, you think about it. It's like, wait, what? I don't know her intentions, but if you think about it, I don't we'll pretend that I'm her. I'm not her, but we'll pretend that I'm her. And I'm like, man, I really like my place. I'm gonna lose my place if I don't have somebody move in. And that's guaranteed money. There's 100, 200,000, 400,000, 70,000, whatever your house was. That's my nest egg for the next however long. I get to keep my house. I know, you know, it's not 2,000 a month you're bringing in. I know you just brought in whatever. Um, and you know, the discard though, is kind of sometimes they're like, oh fuck, like that's a perfect plan, but I don't want to share. So they back out of it, but they don't realize what they've done to your life, you know, and in relation to the kids, they feel like all they have to do is say, "Oops, sorry." They don't realize what my property is. They feel entitled to certain things. If they get mad, they'll destroy. I saw something too. I've seen it firsthand, but all the different destructions on uh classrooms, how they throw everything, they break things, they flip things over, and they're not worried about what it cost somebody else. So Nathan says she's either going to do a reverse Hoover on him, or cheat and find somebody else on the side, or get rid of them altogether. It's not going to be a perfect relationship. She's not going to just one. So she needs more than one supply. Now, a reverse Hoover is if she would, and it can be taken. I'm trying to understand your thought process, and that's where we're trying to connect. That's healthy. Um, she's either going to do a reverse Hoover on him. So that would be if they broke up. She's waiting for him to come back. That's a reverse Hoover. So they're still together. She can't reverse Hoover him unless it's like the little silent treatments. The little silent treatments you can technically do that. She's silent until say, "Oh, baby, baby, I'm so sorry." Make him complain. So there's I'll call them micro reverse Hoovers. It's coined a term, micro reverse Hoover, or cheat and find somebody else on the side. So, uh, John says, in my case, the girl got involved with a lot of other guys, but she pulled the same act on them. Yeah, they do it to other people. That sometimes we come here. Sometimes we feel that we were so stupid. We were the one who fucked up, and it's just we were the victim. You know, uh, it's just their cycle. My dog won't go. My little support dog. Come here, Pop Pop. Come here. I don't know. Come here. She's not used to my living room set up like this. I don't know. Are you doing okay? She looks a little, she's starting to get old. She's like 11. And I don't know what's up with, I think you're okay. Um, and sometimes too, yeah, animals can be nice. She's so chill. Sometimes I forget I have a dog, but when I name my dog, she's there. Take care of her every day. She's so loyal. How old is John? Uh, yeah, John, I can't remember. You're 58. She's 52. You're a couple years older, I think. And John's ex is, yeah. Oh, yeah, 61. I'm sorry. John is 61. Yes. And so feel free. Yeah. Cause her, Nathan's ex is with someone around John's age. And, but John, how old was Show? Show is she in her 30s? I can't remember. 34, 36. Can't remember. And I got a couple of people, feel free to join in. Um, but we're talking about the lies, anything I can help you guys with. uh, and we'll start to see the patterns. 31. Okay, so that's a 30-year age difference. So sometimes too, we have to be careful on that. Uh, did you help her with some money? Um, you know, did she ever borrow money and not pay it back? Um, I know you guys enjoyed time together. There's so many people out there that are take what they can get, you know? A lot of narcissists take, and I don't think she was 100% taking your money, John, but was it kinda like a bonus for her? Just like the kids in the neighborhood, they come to my house, they want ice cream, they like me, but they don't really care about me. It's just like, "Oh, she has candy," or, you know, they talk to me and stuff, but a lot of it's just for them, like, "I wanna brag about this," and they're adorable, they're kids, but I don't need to sit there and tell my life story, so I don't have a need from them. But if I had a husband or a boyfriend, I'd kind of have a need. Like it's my turn to talk, and they don't want to hear it. It's just like children. Anything maybe superficial, but not in depth. That's why the narcissist just spew it out, just say it. They get distracted. They tune you out. And Nathan says, I had heard there's no time limit when they can contact you. They can contact you 30 years later. I got one. Um, yeah, 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 30 years. Um, yeah. So if you guys are sitting here waiting for that Hoover, it could be 30 years from now. So just remember that. I did try to, but she didn't accept it. And that's good. Yeah, some of them won't. I've had them turn it down. Yeah, they don't always sometimes too, it's pride. I don't need your money, you know? It's kind that you offered it. There's times we can help people out. Um, but yeah, definitely don't plan your life around a Hoover. Work on getting your energy up. If it was to ever work with anybody, um, the more your energy stays high, where you don't let people knock it down, and you gotta be careful. There's gotta be a right kind of balance. Uh, you know, uh, and that's where it gets so hard. I want to set my boundaries, but then you try to be empathetic and, you know, all the dating advice too. A lot of it is kind of narcissistic on how to handle things. And it's almost like telling people how to cause a trauma bond. Don't always be available, be elusive, be this, be that. And to them, love is boring. Love is boring. Oh, yep. We talk every freaking Friday at 6. We talk every Tuesday at 4. We have lunch on Sundays. It's just like, Jesus is monotonous as opposed to, oh my gosh, I get to see my honey. Um, they don't appreciate it. And because it's something they don't appreciate, they don't like to practice it. Um, I normally don't check my phone, but like I told you guys, my mom's in the hospital. So, uh, I don't know, guys, but I know sometimes we secretly want the Hoover, or sometimes we're scared of that Hoover. Uh, Nathan, what's the most violent thing that she has done? You said nothing really, right? So if she comes back, does she like go into rages, or uh, is I don't know. Some of them will just cower away. You know, there's so many different kinds of narcissism. Uh, Overt, covert. You know, s- she lives in a house, and the uh, the creditors are making her pay $10,000 over 4 years. As what? $10,000 for her full mortgage, or back pay was $10,000 for 4 years. That's $2,500 a year, which is like, yeah, like you said, I was there doing the math. I'm like, you already told me it's like $200 a month. Her, after her bankruptcy, they told her they they made an arrangement for her to pay 200 extra a month towards her bankruptcy over 4 years. Okay, so that's on back credit that she owed. Okay, so the mortgage company told her that, or the court told her that. The court might be making restitution for the previous liens that she had to her debtors. Um, and I would have been the biggest fool to sell my house and move in with her, be controlled by her, the biggest asshole. Um, yeah, and that's the thing. Uh, I thought you did sell your house. You didn't sell your house? Why am I thinking you did? And sometimes we see through the manipulation, or it's, neither one wants to give up the full house. Uh, I sold all my stuff twice for my first. We were together, so I sold everything. We had a baby. We didn't need 2 sets of silverware, all that stuff. Start fresh. And then, of course, he wants to postpone the wedding, can't tell me when, or why. 3 weeks before the wedding, and, I don't even know who broke he ripped the stability out. Like, we were engaged for over a year, all the other intricate things I told you guys. And then, 3 weeks before, after my bridal shower, I couldn't, like, why, we already lived together. So I left, but we got back together. After I rebuilt, bought everything again, sold everything at a garage sale, super cheap. You want my vacuum? Give me $5. It's like, oh, I don't even know, $150 vacuum. And that's back in the day. Uh, so I'm just, I think I made like chump change. And then we had one date on Valentine's Day. I get a speeding ticket, and it's over. And I sold all my stuff to move back in with him. We were going to have a date. And then, as soon as, I don't know, the weather was better or whatever we were doing. Um, I don't know why we waited. I had a job across state, and yeah, they see it, and then one little oopsie, and you're out the door. It doesn't matter. You invested more. You sold everything. And her son, Nathan says, and the guy she was with can't stand each other, and they almost they can't much they can't stand each other, they almost get into fights and arguments. They can't stand one another, and she does absolutely nothing. She might be enjoying it, you know? It's comfortable. Like, why stop it? Or doesn't care. They'll work it out. Whatever. I don't need to get involved. I'm gonna go do my own thing. Consumes consumer later, her son and him are going to get into it because they can't stand each other, and I told her that before. When you bring another guy in around your son, the sparks are going to fly. Oh, the reverse discard? Mm, you meant reverse discard within these last 3 comments? 4 comments? 3 comments? Or before? Uh, so trying to apply it to the words you're saying. Sometimes, the tension will get bad, they don't wanna hear it, so they might leave. Um, or, they might become possessive, over, "This is my husband, don't talk to him that way," or life partner, or, "This is my son," and yes, John, there you are. Okay, John says, "Okay, Cynthia." I'm okay, are you okay? But this is something too why it's really good to talk to people on the phone. People don't really talk to each other on the phone anymore. So sometimes too, the way people type certain things, it can lose meaning in context because of the way it's worded. I'm going to relate it to the way I process it, and sometimes that's not the way you process certain words. And you say, wouldn't be kind of cool if they have a narcissist a narcissist convention, then all of them can be at one place and then all hook up with another, find the right one for each other. Yeah, but then they're gonna flip-flop between each other. You're gonna be monkey branching and going from one to another. All right, yeah, John, I should probably sign off too. Nathan, and my viewers, I do have to work early, and, yeah, it was a busy, busy day for me, guys. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Thanks for all the support. Have a good night. Bye, guys.